Hey guys, Austin Miller here with Union Sportsman's Alliance, and on this week's tips and tricks, we're going to show you how to cape this deer's head. We're coming off a great fall. We just shot this deer last week, so we're going to show you guys how to cape this thing out, get it ready for taxidermy. So this is a process that's pretty intimidating. I've been in the field with a lot of folks that get to the head after they've killed their deer and they don't know what to do. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna break this down super simple, go through it step by step, and show you guys how to be able to be more proactive in the field and get this to your taxidermist in a way that he's gonna be able to use it. What we're gonna show you in this video is the same regardless if you're doing a shoulder mount or just a Euro mount. There's a couple tools that are gonna make this job easy. Everybody has their own way of doing it. The way I like to do it is I'm gonna use a flathead screwdriver, and I have a little scalpel here and some other tools, various size blades. Let's dive in. So, if this was gonna be a full shoulder mount, you guys would already have this cut up the back of his spine. So continuing that cut up to the base of his head, and then you're gonna Y off to each antler base. So first, we're gonna continue this cut right up through here, Y off to each antler. So what we're gonna do here, find out where, find the easiest spot to make your incision. So on this part right here, fold this hair back, and you see it's kind of already started. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna use this knife, and we're gonna just make a little more room for us to get in here. So, as you can see, I got one side wide out to one of these horns. This is important because when you're gonna take this to the taxidermist, he's gonna have to sew all this up. So if you do it from behind, a lot of times these shoulder mounts are going high up on walls, and if you can keep all the stitching facing away from people, that's gonna be the best. And then here at this part, so you can see both of those are wide off. Fold that back over, they're gonna be able to sew that up really nice. So we'll flay this back open, and then this is where you're gonna come in with the screwdriver. So a lot of people do it a lot of different ways. I do a mixture of knife blade and screwdriver. And the importance of the screwdriver is you're gonna be able to get a nice edge around the base of this antler that's gonna look natural when they put it back on the mount. Moving forward, I'm gonna use a mixture of knife and screwdriver, and the knife is just to allow me to get the head of this flathead in here to be able to pry. This is probably the most important step in this whole process. It takes the most time, and the more time you spend on it, the better it's gonna turn out. Now, we're gonna get the screwdriver involved. What we're gonna do is just kind of pry this away. And as you can see, right here, get this flathead in here, and I'm just kind of working this around this base as best as I can. It's a little bit at a time, and then like down here, you're gonna get your knife back out and then peel some of that away so you have more to work with. I've peeled this off around the base of this horn, and it's looking really nice. So what I'm gonna do is come on this side with my knife over here and then do the same thing. And then the whole goal is just to wrap this all the way around. And so that broke free a little bit. So now I'm gonna get my screwdriver and kind of pry that away. Okay. So that's peeled off. It's peeling off pretty nice. So now we're working around the side of his head. The next thing we need to address is this ear. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna flop them over on this side, and we're gonna take our knife, peel back some of this hide, and at this point, there's nothing that you can mess up. So what you're gonna do is just you wanna keep your knife as close to the skull as possible. This is just a bunch of fat right here. And then pretty soon you're gonna run into this little fatty deposit. So if you keep cutting and just stay close to the skull, you're gonna run into his ear canal. And as you can see right here, we've reached it. So at this point, you don't have to do anything with the ear. Once you take this hide to the taxidermist, he's gonna flesh this ear out. Not a process that we need to do right now. So this is gonna allow us to work around the rest of this base without this getting in the way. I'm gonna work back up here on the top side and start connecting back to the other side. The process is the exact same on this side and this side. So what I'm gonna do is, this is to a point that you can see real nice edge. Skin's getting tight, not a lot to be able to move around. So I'm gonna hop over to this side. Process is exactly the same. I'm gonna take care of this ear, and I could probably do this so I can show you guys a little bit better. We're gonna take this knife, cut down right here. What you're gonna see is a lot of this fatty deposit, and right here is a little extra fat, a little extra skin, whatever. You're gonna come in here and stay as close as possible. And right here, you're gonna see that ear canal start to open up, and you're just gonna run your knife and just get that peeling back and give yourself some room to work here. Switch over to the smaller knife, work around these bases. So while you guys are doing this, now I know that I'm not gonna be shoulder mounting this deer, but if you are, being meticulous is a super important. So that's why I'm taking enough time to show you guys how this process works. But if you're just doing a Euro, you don't need to spend this much time doing it. The whole goal is just to get skin off the head so you can throw it in to boil, or however you're gonna process it. So right here, we're getting to a really nice point where all this work, all this prep work up here that we've done is gonna start rolling forward. So right here you can tell my ear's flopping here. I'm gonna work down, this is his bottom jaw, this little corner here. So we're gonna just start peeling this back in order to get the rest of this base taken care of on both sides. The process is exactly the same. I'm gonna work on that now. So the best way I found to do this is to put your blade, rest the edge of your blade on where the bases are coming up from the skull, and you just kind of take your time and you just follow this hide around, and it ends up peeling apart and you get this really nice edge around there. Okay, so as you can see on this side, made it all the way around that base. So what you end up having is this real nice edge that when you get this to the taxidermist, he's gonna be able to wrap this around your mount, and it's gonna look real seamless. And that's how that's gonna come off. We're gonna jump over to this other side, wrap this up, and then we're gonna move on to the eyes and the tear ducts. These guys here. So as you can see right here, if you grab onto the ear, run your knife down through here, we're gonna start getting into the eye socket. So you're gonna feel a little ridge here. And the nice thing is you can keep folding this over and back. Just so you don't cut anything you don't want to. But a good rule of thumb, the best thing I've found, the best way I do it is flip your knife over and you're gonna cut in as close to this eye socket ridge on the eye side as possible. So I like to just come in here with this. And we're gonna get into the eye here in just a moment. Peel this down his forehead. This is gonna look like this. Again, just work this back. Keep working it back, take your time. You need to take a break, take a break. What we're gonna do though is, this ridge goes all the way around. It's pretty distinguishable. You should be able to feel it. So you're gonna get in, once you cut that away, you're gonna get this little hole right here and you can start seeing into where the actual eye is gonna be. That's good, that's what you want. So you're gonna follow that around. So Right here, you can see the corner of his eye from the inside. So I'd like to put my finger in there, just grab it just like that, and then just keep pulling. And what you're gonna do is just cut around this eye socket until you meet back up with, till you meet back up down here on the bottom side of this eye. So at this point, the work around the eye is done. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hop over to the other side and keep this hide moving down at the same pace as me. And then we're gonna jump into tear ducts. So if you fold this back over, we got this eye, and then we're gonna work on this guy next, and this is important. Down here, this is his bottom jaw. So what you can do is, again, I like to keep my blade tight to the skull as possible. And then you're gonna run in and you can start feeling his back teeth. That's where you're gonna wanna start kind of peeling back for his inner lip section, back here, back of his mouth. Bring this up. Once you start working down this jaw, you're gonna start seeing this weird texture here. This is just the inside of his mouth. It's nice to get it to this point. So these are the back teeth in the back of his head. And then same thing, kind of similar with the eye. It's gonna give you something to hold on to, and then you're just gonna work your knife right down here along these teeth. So you're gonna peel that right off the bone and give the taxidermist enough to work with here is the whole goal. Okay, so now we're to a point where this is folded back enough to where I need to start being careful. We're gonna tackle this tear duct here. So with this, you can do it with a normal sized knife. If you have access to a smaller knife, I would use it. So what this is gonna look like, same thing, you can put your finger in this eye hole, and then you're gonna start, again, keeping as close to the skull as possible. Just take little bits at a time, and flipping this back over. So almost immediately, you're gonna come up on this right here. And what you wanna do is just a little bit at a time, because you do not wanna screw this section up. Screwing this up is very hard for the taxidermist to recreate this. So if you can keep this all one piece, get this tear duct out without cutting the bottom of it, the better you're gonna be. It's a very deep crevice. So what you wanna do is just take your time, stay on the bone side of the skull, and you're just gonna work this skin out. And the best way to keep doing this is just go slow, fold this over as much as you need, but basically this is like a big deep divot here. So maybe 1/8 inch deep, 1/4 inch deep, kind of depends on the animal. We're just gonna work on getting this guy out. What you're gonna do is you're gonna just work around in a motion like this, little bits at a time, and just keep working that back. And sooner or later, this thing's gonna pop free, and then you can move on to the other side. What I like to do is put my hand here and give a constant pressure, pulling that way, and just keep all this out of the way so you're not cutting anything you're not supposed to. This here is just another time-consuming part of this. It just is what it is. Not quite as tedious as around the bases, but still a very important step. So what you're gonna do is start working down the crown of his nose here, so you can see how deep that is. This is the tear duct, this is this guy. So this is the front side of it, roll that over. That's what you're trying to avoid cutting out. Come down here, continue right along the top of his teeth, cleaning that up. So at this point, this guy's pretty much at a good spot. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna flip this over and work on the other side. Process is exactly the same. This is what we got so far. Everything's looking really good. Flip this over. All this is still really intact, looking really good. So we'll start on this side. I like to just use a big knife for this. There's not really any more tedious spots that you're gonna have to do. Now, this is just working down the underside of his bottom jaw. There's not a lot you can mess up here. Obviously, you don't want to cut through the hide, but just stay close to that bone as possible. Work that down, and then what we're gonna do, work right down in here. So this is where his hide connects to the top of his jaw, or yeah, top jaw right here. We're gonna start working this down. This little texture here, that's the inside of his mouth. Same process, just keep working both sides down the best you can, taking your time. Flipping this all around. When you get down into here, we're about this section right here. So you're gonna start coming into where his mouth is actually starting to become something you need to be aware of. So you're gonna roll this back. This top part of his skull, it's gonna start rolling in towards the inside of his mouth. That's important. You wanna keep following that around, taking your time and making sure you get that cut properly and you don't end up cutting through hide over here. Okay, so now we've got down and we're sitting about here. So if you feel down in here, the bridge of his nose is gonna come down and then it's gonna go into his nostrils. So you can feel that, there's a noticeable difference. So what you're gonna do is, this is all cartilage in this section here. So when you get down to here, you're gonna still apply pressure. And then what I like to do is I like to just come in on the top of the nose like that. You can make a little incision right there, and basically you're gonna do a half moon and you're gonna end up just cutting that cartilage out. Both sides. Let me show you what I'm working with here. So as you get down here, jaw's gonna narrow, rolling in here. And this is where we're getting into like his lips. So you can kind of peel this back. This is his, I guess the opening of his mouth here. And these lips still continue to stay as close to the bone as possible and leave as much there for the taxidermist, and he can cut off whatever he does not need. As we're looking here, we're gonna come back. This bone here is gonna roll around and it's gonna go all the way to the front of his nose. So what you're gonna wanna do is just stay on that little line right here. And this is gonna ensure that you get all the lip off. And the more you go down, the more away you can cut here. So this little cut right here, this is where his nostrils start, and you're just gonna kinda cut out as much of that as possible, and then flip over to the other side, do the same thing. Right here, you can see this is his lip right here where he's gonna start eating food. So keeping that as close to the bone as possible. Flip this guy over. Same thing on this side. This is where I like to just get the bottom taken care of. And then I'll worry about finishing out the nose. Some people do this different. If you find a better way, I'd love to hear about it. Okay, so right here, we're gonna start coming into his teeth, so his front teeth on the bottom section of his jaw. So right here, we're doing a really good job keeping close to this jaw, and what you're gonna wanna do is just peel all that back and continue working yourself around. Okay, so bottom jaw is taken care of. Lips are all intact, tons of stuff to work with. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna finish out this nose. Same thing as the bottom. We're gonna just work around right here, and you can peel and you can see what you can cut. There's not much you can screw up at this juncture, provided you have followed the steps leading up to this point. What I like to do is I like to just cut all this off. There you have it. Hide off. So what you can do, now say this was a shoulder mount, you were gonna use this. Best practice would be to roll it out, lay it out, let it get as cool as possible before you roll it back up. So say you're staying on the mountain. Hang this up, let air circulate it inside out, and then in the morning, when you get ready to pack up, flip it back this way, and then you can continue to roll this up, stuff it in your pack. This guy here is all taken care of. The only other step to do would be remove the jaw. That's pretty self-explanatory, super easy to do. Make some cuts in here, going up, both sides, and then this thing should pull apart. So that's it, guys. For now, we're just gonna be doing a Euro. So next steps, next week's video, we're gonna be showing you how to DIY this skull. We're gonna boil it, show you some steps there. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, you do it a different way, we'd love to hear about it. Please leave a comment below and stay tuned for next week.